What a piece of shit.
It's so crazy.
Oh, I just immediately demonetized the whole fucking stream because I swore in the first 1 second of the video.
I baited you.
Oops.
I'm ops paid by Elon.
If you mention Elon Musk, I'm going to start cursing. I mean, you just saw it.
Yeah.
All right, let me see if I can pull up the YouTube because I want to send the link out. Damn, my computer is slow. Tell me if I'm getting glitchy. Is my playback okay?
It seems delayed, but sometimes that just happens.
Is it delayed with my voice?
Yeah, like you're behind.
Like 1, 2, 3, 4. Is that in sync?
Like a full second. No.
What?
But I was on something earlier with a similar deal, and the video was fine, but it was delayed for me. My internet's not great, so.
Because you're in Spain.
I'm not the. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it could just be that too.
Okay.
Going through a lot of underwater pipes.
All right. I'm watching the live stream at the same time, so we're like 30 seconds ahead in this app. So we're ahead of the live stream.
Okay.
If you're watching already, hi. We just kind of roll into these things and we have no plan, and I do tech support for the first 20 minutes, so bear with us.
Where's this? It's streaming to YouTube. Anywhere else?
It's streaming to YouTube and Terminal Mode, and I started a Twitch. But we quickly abandoned it because I don't know how to like get followers on Twitch. Or to have a following on YouTube. People know us on YouTube, and then if we try to do something on Twitch, it's just like, are we going to get recommended to people with a 0 subscriber Twitch channel? I feel like it's one of those things where it's like you got to get in on the day it opens or else you don't have a chance. Or you're really good at promoting it on other platforms, which is like, I don't know how much of my audience is interested in Twitch at all.
Yeah, that's really what it is. Like, I watch Twitch a lot, and I know a lot of people that do. And when you go to Twitch, you already know who you're gonna watch. You're not like, oh, I'm gonna see who's streaming today.
Yeah. You're not flipping the channels,
right? And a lot of that, like, they've tried to make efforts to make the platform have that capability, but I think it's just like not conducive to live streaming itself.
You
but I don't know. Seems like YouTube's figuring it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really understand what the benefit is between YouTube Live and Twitch Live. I mean, I guess if you already have a YouTube channel, it makes a lot of sense to just stay on YouTube, but I don't know what the benefit is of one over the other. Maybe monetization's easier on Twitch?
I think so, because Twitch is really well gamified. So
okay. They have lots of good emojis.
Yeah, it's very fun to spend money. Well, besides emojis, there's just like a lot of people do the text-to-speech for donations, and they have bits. I don't know if you know about the whole bit system, but
like Bitcoin.
No, you could. I mean, similar in that it's a fake currency. You can buy bits, which is like, think of any game that has some weird microtransaction currency.
Sure.
And then you can just spend, it's like pennies at a time to like put stuff on the screen and make fart sounds. So
you're paying, you put in like $5-10 or whatever, and you have a certain amount of bits you can use.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get that. Yeah. I don't even know if I'm much of a streamer, really. I just use this space to kind of hang out with my friends. And hi, if you're watching, welcome. This is like kind of a behind the scenes thing that we do that, you kind of just get to know me and some of my content creator friends and some folks that are from our Discord or Patreon or just people that we find interesting along our travels. I don't have a set agenda. We're just kind of hanging out. And, I treat this as like, I don't know, it's just a friendly hangout, just buds. So if you're here, you're on the porch with us. This is kind of my decompression. I grew up in Maine, and that's a long-standing tradition. I call it a Maine good night, and that's where you just gather anyone that's in the house or, came to the barbecue or whatever, and you all just sit on the porch and you have your last beer of the night, you smoke a little joint, maybe you have a Coke or something before bed, and you just kind of like unwind and talk about whatever you want to talk about. So that's what this is.
That's funny. They have a similar concept here. They call it a Spanish goodbye.
Oh, really? Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Levi's in Spain, by the way.
Yeah. But so like after everyone hangs out at bars here and on terraces and stuff, and it's like a cultural thing that you finish at the bar and then you stand outside of it for an uncomfortably long amount of time, continuing your conversation, but without the comfort and drinks of the bar.
Right on. Man, I miss Spain. I only went there one time, and it was like the best vacation I've ever taken. I mean, that's the only time I went to Europe. I mean, no, I went to Istanbul too, but that's kind of like right in the middle.
Yeah, it depends who you ask.
Yeah. Oh, Terminal Mode's gonna come in soon. I saw him pop in. I'll give him a minute to get settled.
I think that's one of Istanbul is it's on the Greek side, right, of the peninsula or whatever. It's still Turkish, but
Istanbul is literally split down the middle between being in Europe and being in the Middle East. It's fascinating, and there's so much history of the conflict between cultures. Like it like exchanged hands so many times between like Christians and Muslims.
Yeah.
So you have like Christian mosques and Muslim churches and stuff. It's so That's strange. Yeah, but it's such a cool like I don't know. There's so much history there. But yeah, there's like a river that goes down almost the middle of the city, and on one side you're in the Middle East, and the other side you're still in Europe. So it's like a combination of cultures. It's very cool. All right, we're bringing Terminal Mode in. Terminal.
Yeah.
Look at that background.
What is that?
Beautiful.
That's
It's
awesome.
a poster from 1988. So probably before all y'all were born.
Yeah.
Have we ever spoke?
You're in your 40s.
We have not, no.
Nice to meet you.
It's nice to meet you.
I've watched you a couple times, so then my parasocial brain's like, we've already talked.
Yeah, so Terminal Mode is a good friend of mine. We've partnered on a lot of videos together. He has a great channel. You should definitely check him out. And Levi is a socialist entrepreneur. He's an engineer. Oh, you do it. I mean, please. But he's a big believer. You're software. Would you call yourself software engineer?
Yeah.
Or developer?
So I prefer developer because it makes like actual engineers that build bridges and stuff mad when we do that. But a lot of people do call themselves a software engineer. Okay,
he's a developer, engineer, software guy, and he has a company called 00, and he's making an email. I don't want to say client. Client's not the right word, right?
Yeah, it's such a dorky technical thing. But if you make an app and your app has to send emails, that's what it's for.
Gotcha. Cool. But he's a cool guy, and we met each other through what? You just saw my videos or something?
That's a good question.
How we met? I think you DM'd me
it had
a
to be
long time
that.
ago.
Yeah. I had to just
wasn't
see
my
you on Twitter or something.
Yeah, it wasn't I don't think it was my sick Twitter post. It must have been a video.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like
we both showed up on the Discord at the same time. Like when you set up the Discord and you were going to do something with blue check, you wanted to do test. It was when Elon did something with the blue checks. He switched the blue checks and you set up the Discord and you were asking people to participate in something you were going to do. And I remember Levi and we both showed up on the Discord about the same time. We were talking because he was in Phoenix at the same time. Mm-hmm. He was living in Phoenix when.
That's right. You guys are both. You're both from Arizona. Were you both born in Arizona?
I was born in Colorado, but I lived in Arizona my whole life. So.
Wow,
that's interesting. My family's from Colorado, but
really?
I was born in Tucson. So, whereabouts in Arizona?
Mostly Phoenix. I was in Lake Havasu for a lot of my childhood.
Did you go to high school here?
Yeah, I went to Valley Vista, if you know where that is.
Valley Vista? I don't even know where that
myself. It's like, you know where, do you know Surprise?
Surprise, yes.
Yeah, okay. It's one of the schools out there.
Interesting. So I went to Mesa High School.
Okay.
Mesa High School. I'll dox myself. But that's where Senator Mike Lee went to high school there. So he might be, a new attorney general here in a few months.
Congratulations. I'm just doing
My
a
wife
quick,
was asking where you went to high school. Sorry.
Oh yeah,
She's
where'd
from
you go to
Arizona, too.
Where'd you go to high school? What's your current address? What's your social
My
security?
social security number.
Mom's maiden name. First car you drove.
Terminal, I don't think you're coming in through your mic.
I'm not? Okay.
It sounds like you're coming in through maybe your computer.
Okay, here, let me see if I can fix that.
And I'm not sure how we're looking on this.
On my camera.
Okay. Like I said, our first 20 minutes or so is just tech stuff.
Is this better?
Yeah.
Oh, it's sultry. Can you give me a little sound check? I'm trying to do better with the levels.
Testing. 1, 2, 1, 2.
Give me some real stuff. Give me some real juice.
I'm so bad at that kind of request. I'm okay at improv, but ask
say the ABCs as if you're irritated.
What do you think I want to do? I was like, I can do this, but no, I don't.
Chat, it's up to you guys to tell us if we're sounding good and if there's any visual problems or anything like that. I think my computer's running a little hot, so I might have some slowdowns. My computer is on the edge, man. I tried to open Premiere and the thing just went to a crawl. I'm super nervous. It's over. I think this is anecdotal, but I think Apple is in the middle of like a planned obsolescence thing, as they usually are. But
is this
my
your computer, Justin?
Yeah, that's my computer. Thank you. Yeah, could you repair that for me? Could you your tweezers and repair that for me?
Apple IISi.
But my wife's computer, she had an iMac from like 2019. And I just had to bring it in because her computer is slowed to a crawl. She couldn't even open like any application. And when I took it to the repair guy, they were like, "Yeah, everyone who's updating to the most recent OS, their computers are slowing down. I have to do so many replacements to SSD and increase the RAM just to make the computers run now. After the newest version of OS X." And I'm suspicious that's what's happening to
Arizona. I have several computers in boxes in storage.
Really?
But will they have enough? Will they have an SSD in them so I can just run OS X?
Yeah. So I've got an old Mac, which may or may not be better, and then I have a PC that you definitely couldn't run OS X on. But
I kind of want to switch to PC because I just hate paying for. I mean, everyone says it all the time, but like Mac shit is so expensive, it should be criminal. Like they should put the CEO in jail. How expensive this shit is. It's not fair.
Part of it is criminal if you follow like the right to repair stuff. Like they prohibit people from being able to source the parts for them and everything. So,
What?
Yeah, it's right to repair. John Deere, the tractor company, is doing the same thing where you can't. They won't actually sell any private party the parts to repair it. You have to go through them. You have to have them repair it. Yeah.
I thought they tried to make some legislation against that. Isn't there better legislation against that stuff in Europe?
Yeah, for sure.
I assume so. Yeah, there's a lot of different stuff here that's been blowing my mind. And
Like the tapas?
well, yeah, the tapas blow my mind. But there are, and this is definitely the right to repair thing. There are non-certified Apple repair shops, which was new to me. Like it's just a guy that fixes computers, and I got my screen replaced at them. And I know, like there are places in America that'll do simple stuff like replace your screen, but if Apple finds out, you're fucked.
Well, that's I mentioned to you guys both that I had a little business on eBay. That's what I did. I repaired iBooks and iMacs and PowerBooks back in the day. I would buy broken ones and then I would piece them back together and resell them on eBay.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Do you ever do the Hackintosh thing when you make a PC run Mac?
I did do a lot of emulation back in the day, but I never really set up a functional any Mac functional like that. It was
I mean, if you have I had a bunch of Macs, so I didn't really need to.
Yeah,
it would just be just to test it, just to see
Yeah.
if I could do it. But
even that's crazy. I have some friends that did that, and you have to buy like hyper specific
Yeah.
hardware because it'll be able to tell.
I want to get out of it so bad. But I mean, I like it, but I feel like there's so many little things, like the price, like the planned obsolescence, that just drive me nuts, and I want to throw my computer out the fucking window. But I feel like if I switch to PC, then I'd have a whole new set of problems that I don't want to deal with either. One of my biggest pet peeve is any kind of like tech issue. I'm just over it. Like if I have to do any tech support stuff, like even me just like switching the levels up on this thing as we're streaming, I'm like, I'm gonna lose my mind. I just hate dealing with that stuff. I'd rather just like be creative. But the tech stuff really keeps me back. Like today I had this is like more evidence that my laptop is dying. I couldn't get a mouse to connect. Like the Bluetooth just like not working. And I tried, it took me like a half an hour to figure it out. And I'm like, the whole time I'm like pulling my hair out, grinding my teeth down to nothing, down to the gums. I was like, I have to take tomorrow off just after feeling this amount of stress. And it's totally, it's stupid, but like that, for whatever reason, my body's just like allergic to that kind of stuff.
I feel the same way, and that's my whole job.
So you're always in a constant state of just losing your mind.
Yeah, dude. Sometimes, like, especially, there have been times when my wife can vouch for this. I'll be so mad. I'm like, if my life didn't depend on it, I would put my fist through this computer. Like,
oh my god, I'm so tempted.
Stand.
Well, I like to close my eyes. Like when I'm in feeling that frustration, I close my eyes and just use my imagination. I imagine myself picking up the closed laptop and just whacking it against the wall and just like let myself feel a little bit of the relief that would not really come for that, but you feel like it would. I mean, your life would be over immediately, but like you feel like there's a sense of relief there to just let myself feel that.
Yeah.
Let's see what this chat's saying. Jor said there's some sync issues. R252, hi. Glad you're here. Pantha says they could see Terminal's face instead of Squish. I don't know what that means, but that's a huge visual problem for them. And, I'm sorry, Pantha. Oh, your cat's name is Squish?
Squishbork, Squatburk, whatever I feel like calling him at the time.
Oh, do you have like a ton of nicknames for your cat?
And Pantha was also one of the ones she was here for one of our first streams too. I think she was.
That's right.
For our technical difficulties. So shout outs to Pantha.
Yeah, thank you, Pantha, for always backing us up and not being too judgmental. Oh God, I just did something bad. Oh no, what did I do? How do I do it? I accidentally zoomed in like 500%, and I can't. All I can see is the top of Levi's head. The full screen top of Levi's head. Oh no, help! How do I get out of this?
I just mentioned technical difficulties.
I shouldn't be allowed near a computer. I don't know what's wrong with me.
Whatever you did, it just full screened me too. I don't see any of you anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm sorry. How do I get out of this? Okay, I'm scrolling. I can scroll, but I can't. Okay, Levi, you're the star. Keep the stream going.
That's good. Yeah, okay. The least entertaining one here, probably.
Here we go. No, we're all a bunch of nerds here.
No, your Twitter posts, your video posts are great.
You've been killing it recently.
I'm so far out of the loop, but I just like seeing you talk and get into it with people. I love that.
I love that you're like you talk so much shit, but it's in fun. It's such like where I'm used to like talking political shit. Terminal probably is too, but like Levi's always talking like engineering shit and calling out CEOs, which fun. I love. It's
been dread. I made a video recently that was one of them, the Vercel guy that I talk about all the time, posted about like how he thinks everyone should be back in office, essentially. And all these videos I was making in the middle of a jog. So for that day, I went out, it was pouring rain, and I ran through the rain and was like, "Don't fire me, Guillermo, I'll be to the office soon." and it was a whole like. If you know who David Goggins is, do you know that guy?
I know Walton Goggins.
David Goggins is like an alpha male influencer, for lack of a better term, and he's always like.
I have a better term. I have a better term. Fucking loser.
Yeah. And he does these like running videos, and he always says like the craziest like inspirational nonsense, and he's always yelling like who's going to carry the boats, and
what?
Yeah, so it was like a pseudo. Yeah, I don't know if that's like a Viking thing
Carry
or
the
whatever.
boats?
But
Wouldn't you just put them in the water?
You know,
I think those
someone's
alpha
got to
male.
carry him.
Yeah, I
Someone's
guess.
got to do it.
Those alpha
I think the
male
notion
guys.
is that
Go ahead.
Go
I
ahead.
gotta check something. No, I have to figure out how to unzoom
I was going to say, I think the
Levi's
notion
head
is
off my
that
screen.
a boat is carried by the water, but if you're strong enough, you can carry the boat.
Maybe, yeah.
You're more powerful than. And did Levi shout out his Twitter information and all that? Yeah, so
I didn't.
people- you should let people know
Sure. I'm
if
a
you
little
want. I'm not pressuring you. No pressure, but if you want to, that's why everybody's here, is to promote their brands.
for sure.
Yeah, that's all we care about.
It's just
here.
funny because I feel like if people meet me, I have to burp.
Thank you.
Apologies.
I'm glad I had you in my ear.
It would have been better if we would have had him zoom in like earlier.
Yeah, top of my head burp sounds.
It's just this.
Usually I can mute before, but that one took me by surprise.
No.
The funny thing about promoting my Twitter is I feel like if anyone meets me elsewhere and then they go to my Twitter, they're like, this is not the same guy. That other guy was so reasonable and chill, and this guy's fucking yelling at everyone.
I feel the same way. I think that's a Twitter issue. Like, I feel like if you only know me from Twitter, you think I'm ultra depressed and angry. And I mean, and to an extent, I am, but that's not all I am. You know, I think if you watch my videos, it's like taking the darkest subjects I can imagine and making them very lighthearted in a weird way.
Right.
So, Cornelia's here. Cornelia, what's up? Glad you're here. Cornelia's the best. Cornelia's been with us for so long. Like, Cornelia, what was the first video you saw? I think I've seen your comments for like a couple of years now. Let me know. But yeah, I think Twitter just like, one, it's a text platform, so there's automatically a coldness to it that you can never resolve through, like, no matter how many exclamation points you use, you're never going to get like that really jolly human emotion from it. So already the baseline is like grumpy.
For sure.
And then it's like in terminal mode, you probably have a thesis to write on this, but it's like, you know, there's so much incentive to be negative on Twitter. Not only are you promoted further, it's just also it's like part of the culture that got developed over time.
Yeah.
You know, it's always a lot of darkness. Terminal mode, you probably have a couple words to say about that. He tells me every day, he's like, stop using social media.
Yeah, you are different. You are a different person on Twitter, and I think that you really, I do catch you really trying to seek engagement on Twitter. Whereas me, I just go there and I just want to make a joke, and have a couple of people laugh. But you really are seeking like actual engagement. You're just like constantly, well, maybe this will work, maybe this will work, maybe this work.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you blow up, and then you're like, okay, now I got it. And then after it fades. After it fades, you're like, I got to do it again, or I got to do something that really hits harder. Whereas like I don't think I entered in early enough into the space to really feel that joy that you must get from it.
I don't know if it's joy. There's definitely an addiction element. Like once you have a tweet, like, and it's similar with, the whole reason I make viral videos. See, I'm already like, you can see where the addiction is. The whole reason I make videos is like one time I went super viral and like a lot of people loved it. And I made a lot of people happy and made a lot of people laugh. And like that became an addiction immediately. And then Twitter has a similar kind of thing, but it's like in darkness. The darkest tweet will get 100,000, likes or whatever. And there's an addiction element to that. Like I think I think media is in a transition to like social media. Like Hollywood's kind of dying and social media is growing at the same time. So like we all feel some like pressure to have, if we're media creators at all, or even if you're in business or something, you have to have a social media now. And so we're all kind of like incentivized to have a biggest platform as possible on these different websites. And the way to do it on Twitter is, the certain types of content is elevated over others, and it's usually 9 times out of 10 it's darker content. Sometimes you can get a funny video or something to go viral that's just cute or whatever, but a lot of times it's just like, oh, like the world is terrible and everything is bad and this person's trying to kill these people, and like that's usually what goes viral. From any political perspective. On the right you've got people like just making up shit about trans people or whatever, saying terrible things, and they'll go ultra mega viral all the time. And over on our side, I'm saying stuff like, oh, the IDF is like putting, it's a real thought that I have, but like I don't trust my cell phone that much anymore after what Israel did to
That's
Lebanon.
What's happening to your computer. It's about to blow.
Probably, yeah. I put out that Netanyahu video, and suddenly my computer's acting kind of funny.
Yeah.
But like that's why I wrote that tweet that went really viral recently, is talking about that. And so like, but like my tweets that are like, oh man, I love being friends with my neighbors so much. It's such a better life to like get to know your neighbors, and you grow, you can like do projects together, and you can have dinner together and stuff, and we celebrate our birthdays together. 3 likes. Meanwhile, if I talk about how Israel's got to fucking put a bomb in my earpod, it's got to get 100,000 likes.
Sorry.
The
whole system is structured around negative engagement, because consensus is actually much more brief. Just like, hey, I love you, the sweetness. But pitting people against each other, you create these arguments that go on, and you get people entangled in these things, and it makes it, they're on there, engaged longer. The data can be mined, they can be targeted for ads longer. So it's gross. It's gross that it's all about negative engagement. I mean, Facebook kind of perfected it and kind of waned, but there's nothing positive about it. And I'd like to, I'm going to change the subject a little, not really change it, but like my interest in Twitter, like I come from like early hacker culture where it was all about trying to figure out things, but not necessarily using it. It's all about learning how to do financial fraud, but not actually engaging in the financial fraud. Once you know how to do it,
Good disclaimer.
It really is, because that's, for me, like understanding systems and what works in them is fundamental. But after I understand them, I don't necessarily want to get in there and do it. I mentioned this to you about like understanding how to monetize stuff on YouTube. I want to know, but I don't necessarily want to monetize my stuff on YouTube. So, and like Twitter, I just want to understand how it works. How can I do it? I understand Reddit. Reddit is very simple. And like I can go onto Reddit and get 10,000 updates or whatever, but Twitter I haven't figured out yet. Maybe I'm too late to the game, because now it's all about right wing engagement. It's really hard to get.
Yeah, you're not racist enough to do really well on Twitter anymore. 2 points. Point 1, I just want to make it very clear for all the listeners out there. Terminal Mode is just very interested in financial crime and understanding financial crime and recreating it, but not actually executing it. So he's interested in the method. He's not interested in actually doing it. So I just want to put that out there.
Let me add to this. I'll actually give a story. So when I was a kid, we used to get on BBS systems long before the internet, and there would be text files that would be exchanged that would have illicit information in it.
Terminal mode live from prison right now.
So and one of the things that they explained how to do was like credit card fraud back in the day. They would be like, okay, here's what you do. You do it this way. And I would like, oh, that's interesting that you can do that. And then for some reason, like I shared this information with another kid in school, and he went and he ordered like $1,000 worth of ninja paraphernalia from a karate magazine.
Karate magazine?
He ordered like the whole ninja outfit, the grappling hook.
That's awesome.
And I was like, I gotta disassociate from this guy. And that's just like one of my stories of like learning how to do illicit stuff and then showing some other kid, hey, look at this thing I learned. And they would go run off and do it. So
that's so funny.
Oh my God. Did you ever get it? You guys ever get like in trouble when you were a kid?
All the time. Yeah. I was a real.
I don't mean like detention. I mean like.
Oh, everything. Yeah, I've been arrested.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, underage drinking of all the things.
Oh, that's like an American. That's like an American rite of passage.
I was so afraid that was going to affect my visa, but.
I mean, what's the drinking age in Spain? 14?
Right, yeah, something like that. But well, it's so dumb because you know, cops. They asked me questions while I
Yeah.
was drunk, which I found out, like, if I had not a public defender, he would have immediately been like, "You're good." They asked you while you were
Uh-huh.
drunk, like, just fight that. But my public defender was not fucking on my side, as they
Not
do.
defending.
And I pled guilty to lying to an officer.
Oof.
So that sucked. So it was that. But apparently that's also not that big of a deal. And then whatever. But that sucks, dude. Like, they'll ask you questions while they're drunk, while you're drunk.
Yeah, it's under duress.
Yeah. And it's so funny, too. I should tell the story, honestly. The lie I told. So
Okay, let's go.
we got
Let's go.
drunk. And then the people, the house we were at that we were drinking at were like, you gotta get the fuck out of here. Like, you two are too drunk and belligerent. So they like put us in the back of a car, drove me to my house. And the other guy they brought to my house, I like hardly know, right? And
Yeah.
they basically just dump him out of the back of the car. And he gets really mad and he picks up some rocks and smashes their window.
Oof.
And then they call the cops on us. And so we go into the house and the cops start banging on the door. And I'm actually living with a friend at the time. And his mom opens the door and lets the cops come in. Mistake number one. And I'm throwing up in a toilet. And he jumps into the bathtub and hides and like pulls the shower curtain closed.
Oh my
And
god.
the cops come into the bathroom and they're like, "Are you drunk?" And I'm like, "No, I have the flu."
Your friend just like,
And exactly. And they go, "Is there anyone in that bathtub?" And I go, "No." And then they
That
just pull it
bathtub?
open. Yeah. Yeah. So that was the big lie, the big slander.
oh my god, that's nothing. That's like, oh, let me say one thing real quick. But we should probably acknowledge that like we're joking about like getting in trouble with the cops when we were younger. I have a story for you as well, but like we have to acknowledge that we're three white dudes. And it's a different experience for people that don't look like us in this country. It's a very big, different experience. You know,
sure.
white people getting picked up by the cops is kind of like a fun pastime for us. So, you know, it comes with stories we can laugh about, and that's not as fortunate for everybody else. So
Crazy. Crazy thing about that, the other dude was white too, but they ended up beating the shit out of him.
really,
Yeah. He
Jesus,
So he was
same
also
time,
drunk.
the same moment, right? Not a different time, the same
Yeah,
night.
same time.
Holy
They
shit.
pull us into the living room. They put us in handcuffs, and he's drunk, so he starts to fall over. And they just took that. They like yelled, "Stop resisting!" Threw him on the ground. Beat the shit out
Oh
of him.
my god, Jesus Christ! Cops are fucking jerks, man.
Brutal. Yeah. It was brutal. Like they pulled him back up by the handcuffs and like did a 360, threw him into the wall. It was fucking-
Jesus, and you saw that?
Yeah,
my
yeah,
God.
yeah. And I was like, "Yes, sir, no, sir. Oh my God, don't do that to me."
Wow. Yeah, man.
So, fucking nuts.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I can only imagine if we weren't white, we'd probably be fucking dead.
For what? For drinking and hiding in the bathtub?
Yeah, right.
You know what's funny? My dad. Not. I mean, it's not funny, but my dad, like my dad's a conservative guy. He's not like a Trump conservative. He's kind of like who Kamala's trying to court right now.
Okay, yeah.
You know, it's like they're making a distinction between like Trumpism and conservatism. And so he's like an old school. He was like Reagan was the coolest guy ever.
Yeah. Okay.
But he's not like a Trump psycho. So, but even back, people have known forever, and even conservatives, that like cops are trash. Like when I was a kid, he would be like, we'd be driving around, and he'd be like, don't ever if we ever get pulled over, don't ever mouth off to a cop. Don't say anything smarmy.
Right.
Just be cool, because what he'll do, if you start talking back, he'll just pull a little baggie out of his pocket, has a little bit of weed or coke in it, throw it on the floor of your car, and be like, "Oh, what's that?" Like my dad's telling me this when I'm like 10.
Yeah.
And
True, though.
you know, I
Great
was
advice.
10 over 20 years ago. So like, you know, everybody knows this. It's just like, you know, obviously my dad's white, but like, I don't know if conservatives, even though they know that, have the same grace for black folks that are getting getting pulled
Right.
over by the cops
Right.
or whatever. It's like, oh yeah, we
Yeah,
know
all of
when
a
that.
sudden-
Yeah, exactly. The cop definitely
Yeah.
threw the baggie on the floor in this white guy's case, but the black guy,
Right. No.
like, yeah, okay, it's the same cop, buddy. You think he's nicer to the black guy?
yeah.
Come on,
Yeah, exactly.
come on,
Right.
man.
I thought you were
Right.
going to say that he was offering weed and cocaine, because from my experience, the cops are super nice. Like, went to the river with a buddy's friend and his dad, like when I was like 12 years old, and he was like zooming back home at like 80 miles an hour after he had like a 6-pack, like, or more, and he's driving home, and the cop's like, oh, how many buds have you consumed today, Mr. Whoever? And he's like, oh, just 6. And he's like, okay, have a nice day. And he's just like,
God.
it was just like,
Oh, my
there was no, like, it was just like, you're drunk, you're speeding, just take it easy out there, which is like not, like you said, any other person probably would have got far different reaction.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get beat up by the cops. I mean, I grew up in a really small town too. Like, there was more cows than people, so it's like, it's a different kind of world. Anyway, I for like a senior prank, which is kind of like, it's not that funny in retrospect, but at the time, like, I grew up on like Tom Green and Jackass and stuff, so just like doing all kinds of weird stuff in public was like the thing to do.
Right.
My buddy and I, like, on the last day of school, walked through the whole school and stole all the fire extinguishers.
Oh my God.
Just walked through and like yoink yoink off the walls, and just threw him in his car. And we were just driving around after it was dark, and just blowing the fire extinguishers out the window, like from both sides. So you can imagine this car just driving in a cloud of smoke. And the cop saw us, the only cop in town, and he pulled us over, and he was like, where did you get those? And I was like, I couldn't say we stole them from the high school. Like, it was the last,
Right.
like, I just like,
You're like,
I
we just
needed to get out of the
bought a
situation. I should have said that. No, but it had like the word like lobby written on the fire extinguisher and stuff. So it's like so obvious it came from somewhere.
It's from
yeah.
Hobby Lobby.
Yeah.
They sell those now.
But I told the cop, I was like, look, I only had a couple in the car. We didn't have like 12 in the car. We only had like 1 or 2 in the car. And I was like, my dad brought it home from work, and so it's from his work, and we're just goofing around. I'm sorry. And he's like, oh yeah, okay. Well, let's call your dad. And so they call my dad, and they were like, ask him if he got those from work. And I'm like, Dad, did you get these from work? And my dad was like, nope, they're not mine.
No.
It just sold me out immediately. To the cop that might throw a baggie on the floor of the car, he sold me out immediately.
Right. That's so funny.
But
he forgot his
and
own
then,
advice.
Yeah. And then I was like, in my head, I was like, I cannot say I took them in the high school. I feel like that's like a big crime if I steal like the school's fire extinguishers. So I was like, okay, sir, I'm sorry I lied to you. I was just really scared. The truth is, we were at the mall, and they must have been replacing them or something. They left them outside near the dumpsters, and we just took them. And the cops were like, you see, that wasn't so hard, was it?
Oh my God.
Like,
That's
yes,
so
sir.
funny.
Yes,
Pays
sir.
to be honest.
Yeah, face to be honest.
Yeah. That's great.
Oh, yeah.
I think I shared my story about almost getting arrested for robbing a 7-Eleven with the sawed off to Justin before. I don't know if you remember.
What? With a sawed off? Wait, this sounds familiar. Was it real sawed off?
It was actually a BB gun that had been sawed off to look like a sawed off.
You were in a trench coat?
No, we didn't have any trench coats. This is long. This is like when the movie Colors came out, with Ice-T. So
You're just like trying to be...
This gun was in the car for some reason, underneath the seat, and we had parked the car on the side of the 7-Eleven, and we just went in there to play video games, because that's where back in the day, there was nothing to do in our town. We just would go up to the 7-Eleven and play, like, video games, or like arcade machines.
Okay.
And we were going out from the 7-Eleven. We were leaving, and then all of a sudden, the entire parking lot just zooms in with cars, and a helicopter comes up, and they point all their guns at us, and they're like, "Get on the ground!" And they're like yelling at us.
Oh my God!
And they like put us up against the wall, and they were patting us down, looking, and they're like, "What are you guys doing here?" And we're like, "We're just here, buying some nachos and playing video games. And they're like, well, why do you have a gun in your? Why was there a gun in your under your car seat? And then I was like,
crazy.
it's a BB gun. And they're like, no, it's not. It's real. And then he goes and he like opens the car and he gets the BB gun out and he's like, shit, and he like throws it in the trash. And then after that, they like try to use this as probable cause to search my car. So they're going through my car looking for stuff because they're pissed because they spent all this energy, arresting these 15-year-old kids,
Right.
or putting us against the wall, and they wanted to find something so they could. And I was like, you don't have probable cause to go through my car. And he's like, he started hitting me in the chest. Don't you tell me what I can and can't do, Mr. Lawyer. And he's like, roughing me up. And then they eventually they just got pissed and drove away. Probably shot somebody else that night in a rage.
Get the energy out.
Yeah.
I got in trouble for. Oh my God! I shouldn't even say this.
Those are the best ones.
Okay.
I'll one up you after this one. I'm gonna one up you. So just be.
No, I don't think you can. I don't think you can. To be honest,
I can.
Okay. Let's just say the opening line of this story is not indicative of the rest of the story. But I got in trouble for bringing a gun to school one time. I was in college, and I lived in the art dorms, and so all my friends are like theater people and filmmakers, and we used to make our own short film. Maybe we'll watch some sometime on stream. There's a bunch of like secret shorts, comedy shorts out there that you can find on YouTube if you're savvy enough. So I had all these props that would bring in from home, and a couple of the props that I had were like a little like pellet gun that looked like a 45, and then I had like an old West cowboy gun. And my roommate at the time, he had a couple of samurai swords. So like we're in the dorm rooms, and I've got all my big box of props, and he's got his swords on the wall and stuff. And like one we're having a party in the dorm or something, and people started posing for pictures with the props. And so some people were like holding the cowboy gun and like holding a sword at the same time, and just like pretending to fight each other and stuff. And that all deactivated, nothing worked. The swords are dull, but like now there's a bunch of pictures, and somebody put them all on Facebook. Oh, God. And so it's pictures of like kids in a college dorm room playing with swords and guns.
That's awesome.
And then so I came home from class one day, and I was going into the front door of my dormitory, and I saw two cops walk out, and one was holding two guns in like a plastic bag, I think, if I remember correctly. I can't imagine they're holding them in their hands. I think they're in something. But look, like see my two guns, and the other cop was walking out with my buddy's sword like at hilt.
That's so funny.
And I was like, oh God, here we go. And they just pulled us in to talk to us. And honestly, the punishment was like so lax. I'm so surprised to this day. Like, I don't think that shouldn't have flew back then, because that was like there were so many school shootings between like Columbine and like 2000 when I was in college, like 2007 or something.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, even back then there was school shootings all the time. But their only punishment was just like, just come back and get them at the end of the year. When you leave campus, just put them in your trunk. I was like,
that's crazy.
Okay. I mean, I use the same excuse. It's like we're in the art dorm. We're just like making short films and stuff all the time. And like, I was a big like Robert Rodriguez guy when I was younger. So I'm like, give me all like the fake guns and
that's so
stuff.
funny.
But like, I feel like I've dodged punishment so many times because of stuff that like should have got me in so much trouble.
Yeah,
that being one of them.
I've got a couple of those too. Yeah.
Yeah. Terminal mode's a kind of a choir boy, though.
Yeah. No, I never got arrested or anything, but I did get pulled out of like AP chemistry because somebody was blowing up teachers' mailboxes, and they knew that I had the technology to do this. Because, like I mentioned, I was on all these goal score systems, and we found like texts on how to build bombs and how to build devices to get free phone calls, like red boxes. And blue boxes. My God! But
that's crazy.
We learned to make simple bombs that weren't like chemical bombs. We learned to build chemical bombs too, but I shared some of the information with some other kid, as always. And they were blowing up. They would go around and put these bombs in teachers' mailboxes and blow them up, like at their residence.
Oh my
and,
God!
Big, like these things were kind of fairly powerful. I mean, enough to create shrapnel and go through the air. So I got pulled out by the police out of my chemistry class, and they were asking me where I learned to do this and why was I blowing up teachers' mailboxes. And I was like, I didn't do it. And they're like, well, these other kids who got arrested for it said you did. So,
oh my God.
they tried to pin it on me, even though I shared them with the technology.
That's horrible.
Did you get a rap sheet?
I don't.
Are you on a list anywhere? I kind of just like the videos we make. You and I must be on a list for just the videos we make.
Yeah.
You think so? I don't think my shit's not. I mean, seriously.
Magic Bullet?
You think? Really? No.
What's that video about, Terminal? Why don't you tell us what Magic Bullet's about, and we'll do a judgment call.
It's about a better future. It's about a man who experiences a close call, and he has a change of heart. He has a change of heart. I mean, there's nothing radical about it.
So that was a good one. I saw that one.
I don't know if it's my. I think it might be my favorite that you've done, but I'm not sure.
It's probably
I like
so
your
many
science
things
one too.
It's also like the spiritual successor to the first one I did, where Trump goes on the killing spree. Right, the first one, he gets mad and he just goes on a killing spree and he's shooting people and killing people, and he's like, "I'm a victim," and he's like raging.
Yeah.
And this one, it was the opposite, that he has a change of heart and he's a kind person.
See, it's the positivity.
Yeah.
That's the secret.
That's the most. I think you found the way to make the most positive outcome for Trump getting shot in the ear. Like on one parallel universe somewhere, I think this happened, and the world is better for it. So thank you for opening up the door.
Well, honestly, if social media weren't such a cesspool and it didn't encourage our basest desires, something like this in a normal person would cause you to have a real reflection. I mean, anybody, when you have a close call with death, has a reflection of things. But he's encouraged not to flip, because people want to see him be, strong and powerful and still be raging against all the injustice that he perceives, people are experiencing. So,
yeah, you would. Yeah, can you imagine getting clipped in the ear like that? Or even if people disagree on like if it happened or not. I think it did. I mean, it's the craziest thing in the world to fake, but like people died. But there's some like Blue Anon folks that like think it's all staged, and
Blue
people are
Anon.
just.
I've never heard that.
You never heard Blue Anon?
Really?
That's
No.
that's like Democrat QAnon.
That's so funny. Yeah, I'm much less politically involved than you two.
Well, you're in a different country. You get to like hide from it.
Yeah, I'm just chilling. I
God.
can't even vote here, so I have no opinions.
But you're like Spain is doing like Spain. What they recently like they stopped. Are they doing like a BTS in Israel? Like they cut something off. They cut off relations in some way. Spain, one of the only European countries to do it.
Right. Ireland did first, and then Spain was next. And I don't know if anyone else has.
Yeah,
What?
it's
mad at Ireland.
No, I'm like, of course they're the best.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But
why
Spain,
are more
like,
countries doing this? I don't get with the recent shit in Lebanon. I don't get why are more countries like being more critical. It's nuts. It's so obvious.
I think we're just in too deep to that project. Like too committed to like whatever. Israel is going to be like the NATO military base in the Middle East. Mm-hmm. And like there's the incentive structure is like if you give that up, then like automatically you've got nothing in the Middle East, and the entire world just like gearing up for World War III and IV to suck every drop out of oil out of the Middle East. So America wants to have like their stake in it, and Europe does too, except for Spain and Ireland. They're smart enough to like be like get off that sinking ship.
That's what it really takes to have a group of people understand these things. Is Ireland's been through so much conflict, in the history and with England and amongst themselves. And when you go through that shit, you actually are like, when you see it elsewhere, you actually will take a stand. But like in America, we've lived such a comfortable life. So nobody in America really can empathize with what's going on in these other countries, because all we do is sit around and eat bags of chips and watch TV.
I think I think the more like maybe I shouldn't say that, but I would assume that the more you closer to you are to like having experienced American oppression, the more you can recognize it in other places if you're worldly enough. I think the other American problem is that like we're so isolated in terms of our knowledge base of the rest of the world. Like generally, we don't know what the fuck is going on in other parts of the world. Like our culture is so insulated. Meanwhile, everybody knows what's going on in our country.
Yeah.
Well, kind of.
It's so weird. I've learned a lot of like Europeans have such an interesting view of America that's like mostly driven from television. And then
ours inside of America is driven by television too.
True. But theirs is so like, man, like I just know a lot of people that like I'll tell them about my day-to-day life and they're like, so it's not like chilling on Hollywood Boulevard with all the celebrities all the time? Like you're not just like you're not all just rich as hell doing whatever you want? Like
that was a surprising thing that I've heard Europeans say. I think we have more money than we do.
Yeah. Everyone thinks, like, especially because I came here.
Yeah.
Like in their mind, I'm fucking loaded. Like I had so much money that I got bored.
Little do they know. Little do they know.
Right. I'm like, no, I have never had money. But yeah, so it's funny.
Yeah. How are you liking not having to worry about healthcare?
Oh, that's incredible, dude. Like,
it's just a dream come true.
Yeah,
like I almost like want to cry thinking about it.
Dude, I'm gonna make you cry, and my wife's gonna hate that I told this story. But she got really, really drunk at a bar, like blackout drunk.
Okay, sounds good so
She's
far.
telling me not to say it, but
we're sorry.
So, when that happens here, they have a word for it too in Spanish. I wish I remembered it, but I don't. But it's like a common thing here, and they just call an ambulance and they take you to the hospital, and then they just give you an IV, and they're like, "Hope you're okay. See you later."
Like not like blackout drunk, but just like drunk.
No, she was blackout drunk. She's like glaring at me right now. Yeah.
Tell her she's integrating into the
blackout,
culture. She's integrating into the culture. It's okay.
That's what. Yeah. He said you just got integrated into the culture. She's so mad.
I'm so ready to sleep on the streets.
Yeah, but in America they just leave your ass on the street. Like you're definitely not getting an ambulance. You're not gonna pay $10,000 for that, or however much that's gonna fucking cost.
It's thousands.
You. But yeah, that's just like the thing here. You get blackout drunk. They're like, oh, we're gonna make sure you're fine. Go hop in this. Have a little healthcare tour.
I've been trying to like since I'm like getting a little bit older now and like just had a kid recently, I'm starting to think about like my financial future, that kind of boring stuff.
Yeah.
And like today my wife tasked me with looking up like health savings account options. Yeah. And like what you can do with them in terms of investment and stuff, which is like my whole brain. I don't even want to think about this stuff. I have a big enough problem dealing with my computer. I don't want to deal with like investing and stuff. But like in this country, like you have to deal with this stuff that doesn't exist anywhere else.
Yeah.
Like the other like health saving. I mean, maybe there are health savings accounts in other countries that don't have like a totally universal system, but like here it's like you have to like, okay, I need to like have this special savings account where I can take money immediately out of my paycheck that goes into the health savings account so I can use it only in health expenses, because my health expenses are going to be like $8,000 a year for no reason. Right. So I need to like anticipate that savings and needing that money.
Yeah.
And so it's just like a stupid thing that like, not only is it like so destructive that we don't have a healthcare system here, it also wastes so much fucking time.
Right.
Like I have to like I have to look for a new doctor like every year because stuff keeps changing, and like you have to if you move, you have to have a certain kind of plan that goes for your area and your anyway. Like I can't just go to the hospital. I have to do like all kinds of prep for like days and days in the event I need to go to the hospital in the future.
Yeah.
And it's just like you lose any free time I might have had. I've lost, I don't know, probably weeks of my life just dealing with healthcare system stuff.
Yeah.
I could have weeks back of my life if I didn't have to deal with it. If I lived in Spain, I could just go to the doctor and that's it. Like,
wait.
I don't.
Oh no, my dog's moving. You made him real mad.
I know.
No, that's crazy. And like, so I've mentioned this before. My wife has Crohn's, so she needs like all these specialty things. And
She's
here
so thrilled
she
with you
just-
right now.
I love the oversharing. I love it.
Yeah.
My partner totally, will totally rip me if I do any of that. So I
That's
get
funny.
to
No,
experience
she's
this
very-
vicariously.
Only the alcohol thing has never made her mad, but she's very open about like her healthcare struggle. She talks about it on social media all the time. But
Okay.
here she can just go to a pharmacy and order everything that we would have to like. She'd have to call like specialty companies and negotiate with insurance to pay like thousands of dollars, and here it's like $30 and it's here the next day.
Yeah.
And it's like a pharmacy that we can see from our window. It's the weirdest, like, I don't know. That was a huge culture shock.
But I imagine
That-
a relieving one. Like
Yeah,
shock.
yeah.
Usually shock has a negative connotation, but I imagine you're just
Right.
like, oh, weight off
But-
the shoulders.
Yeah, but also like in anger with it. Because like you were saying, I'm like, fuck, this took like way more than weeks for us. Like, like this ate up a huge portion of our lives, just constantly caring about the dumbest shit. And she would be on phone calls for days. Like it wouldn't
Yeah.
get resolved. Call back tomorrow. And yeah, just none of that here. And it's funny too, because like for the first little bit, we have like we're in the healthcare system now. But at first we weren't, so we had to pay for everything out of pocket, and it was so much cheaper than it was with insurance in the States. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah, because insurance, we have to like we pay our premium every month, which is
Yeah.
like just like a monthly. It's a subscription. You pay your subscription
right.
fee every month, hundreds of dollars, depending on how many
Yeah.
people you're paying for. And then when you get sick, you have to pay your deductible first, which
Yeah.
is just like a made up amount of money that says like, okay, you have to, in order for the insurance to actually work, you got to pay $8,000.
Yeah.
Who's got $8,000 extra? I mean, maybe if you have a health savings account, then you have to like think about that shit too. But it's like, even that's like money that you could have just kept if we had healthcare. Oh,
Yeah.
that went into my health savings account that's going to go to a doctor eventually. That could have just been in my regular bank account, and I could have like, I don't know, gone on vacation.
Yeah,
Or
and
kind of like-
it's all just the weirdest made up system too, because like you'll have a year where you're like fine all year, and then you get sick in December, so you haven't paid your deductible yet, and you pay it all in December, and then you're still sick in January, and you pay that whole deductible again for the next year,
Ah,
and then like
crock
Well,
of
the grossest
shit,
thing
man.
also is when you pay the deductible, and then they like later on they charge you more because they're like, oh, you're a greater risk. Like with every form of insurance, once you
Yeah, yeah.
actually use the insurance, all they do is they increase
right.
the cost of your care to cover it in the future.
Yeah.
Which is really gross.
And they increase it when like you're getting
Meanwhile,
older.
they're
They
rich
increase it
off
when
of this. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's all a bunch of billionaires just like stealing money from us. Like that's what every fucking thing is in the whole country. Just like
Yeah.
a weird scam to like take a small amount of, or even a large amount of money, take some amount of money from every single person by like making it law that you have to buy this thing. Like,
Yeah.
you know, there's a part of me that's like, when the Affordable Care Act came around, and if you don't know what the Affordable Care Act is, it basically like mandated that you had to buy health insurance from a private company, and you had to have health. That's how they were like going to solve that people didn't have health insurance problem. They just say if you don't buy it, you're going to get a fine. But I mean, there was some benefits that came along with that, which was like the trade-off was they can't like say no to you for a pre-existing condition. That was like the big trade-off. Which with insurance companies, they used to be able to just like dogs go nuts in the background. With insurance companies, they could just like deny you to even like be part of their insurance system because you had cancer when you were younger or something. You know, they could just say no, haha, we don't want to cover you. That stopped with the Affordable Care Act. But I mean, the fact that they mandated that we had to buy a private product, or else we had to get a fine. That's nuts. That's like solving hunger by like saying you have to like go to McDonald's 3 times a week, and if you don't, you're going to pay a fine. It's crazy.
True. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
a
the
fucked up
scariest
country.
thing, I'm jealous of the European healthcare system because, like, as
Oh,
somebody
yeah.
who's gone
Oh,
into American system, it's all about running diagnostics and paying for the cost of these machines. So they constantly want to run these tests on you to do these things, and sometimes they come up with false positives that, that like with a lot of the cancer screen, historically they scan for these things, and a lot of times they get a false positive, and then they're like, okay, we got to amputate your leg now and it turns out there was nothing wrong with your leg. So as somebody who's been cut open and had stuff looked for, I'm really scared because I'm just a means for the system to extract profit. It doesn't care about solving my problem, right? It doesn't actually. There's no incentive for them to fix me, because if I'm unhealthy, they can constantly just, here, we need to do this test, we need to do this, and that's
now you're a premium subscriber.
I would love to. I'm a person who believes in science. I'm a person who, like, I fucking hate conspiracy theories, but like the American healthcare system fucking scares me. And I would embrace going to the doctor all the time if I didn't feel like going to the doctor. He's going to be like, okay, we need to use this, $2 million machine to screen you, and we found something inside you. We're going to have to cut you open and take it out. It's like that doesn't happen in these other countries because it's not it's not incentivized like it is here.
And you know what that does? I mean, there's so many like add-on effects to that. The one that I feel the most, and it was really prevalent where I grew up in rural Maine, way out in the country. And that also helps kind of foster an anti-healthcare culture.
Right.
When healthcare is so unaffordable and like it's a privilege to have it, it's almost like a coping mechanism where it's like, oh, actually, if you go to the doctor, that means you're a wimp.
Right.
That means like, they'll use worse terms. Maybe they'll say pussy or call you the F slur, right? Because you're just a coward. You're not strong. You're not manly.
You just need to go to the gym and work out and get it.
Yeah. I mean, and you see that manifested now in like the manosphere kind of stuff, Joe Rogan types. Like, don't fucking take the COVID vaccine. Just like, just go work out more. And it's just like that. I think that's a product of like we have a culture that devalues healthcare because healthcare is a privilege. It's the same. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't buy a Lexus, or I don't know what's a fancy car, a Lamborghini or whatever. I think I think Lamborghinis are stupid. I mean, probably because I can't afford one. That's why I feel that way. But like, I mean, I think it's a coping mechanism for people. It's just like, it becomes like something that if you do it, that means you're kind of a wimp or something. You're supposed to just tough it out. Like, oh, you get a scratch, you just fucking staple that thing back. You staple that back together. You put some duct tape on it. Oh, you broke your ankle out in the woods. You better learn how to make a splint out of sticks and some twine or something. And that's where I grew up.
It's even worse with mental health care. It's even worse there, and we need that just as much or more than healthcare. That's why the country's so fucked up, because people think they're okay, but they're not.
In college, I fucked up my ankle really bad, and I just walked with a limp for like a year. I was like, I don't know what happened.
Similar thing. Something just happened with my foot, and I just bought a special shoe. I was limping for I was limping for like 2 months, and they were like, just go to the doctor, and I had no money. And then I was also like, no, I'm not a wimp. Why would I go to the doctor?
Exactly.
But really, the truth is I had no money. I didn't have health insurance back then. So my foot was just like, something was wrong with it. I had a limp. It hurt extremely bad if I put any pressure on it. So I just bought like this like goofy orthopedic shoe at Payless Shoes or something. And eventually it just kind of run away. I don't know to this day what happened to it or how it got healed.
That's crazy.
But that might come back to bite me in a few years. Who knows?
I'm kind of worried about that. Especially, so mine, it was like a full year of limping. And then I convinced myself, because like everything you're saying, I was like, you're a wimp or whatever. It's all fine. And I convinced myself at one point that the limp had become like psychosomatic, like how the actor that played House kept walking with a limp afterwards. Apparently. So I just started running every day, and I was like, it hurts, but I'll run through the pain.
Oh my God.
And that, it worked. I wouldn't advise that, but I did stop limping.
And to get over things like that, I mean, you can kind of see these are all a cycle, right? Like, if I needed to do that, if I needed to power through something like that, I'm going to have to lean into some like form of strength to do that. And like, there's no like culture that just like worships strength and like teaches you how to be strong than like manosphere stuff.
Right.
And so like
Yeah.
if you want to like improve your life and like strengthen your body and things, you got to like kind of go to these guys to do it. And then like now they've got you in their fucking web.
Yeah. And then you're
you
running
become
in the rain making David Goggins videos.
No, you become a psycho. Like those manosphere guys are like, imagine looking at Andrew Tate and be like, that dude is like the fucking king. I'm like, that guy is sad.
I talked about this.
He's a bad
on
guy
Twitter.
and he's very sad.
Yeah. I talked about this on Twitter. I think you liked it. But there's a competitor of mine that has this like Andrew Tate simping article that's like praising him for being such a genius marketer. And that's, yeah, it's so weird that like even, because like no tech people are like real manosphere people. I guess some are like buff.
There's gotta
buff
be.
nerds.
There's gotta be some.
Yeah, there are. But what I'm getting at is there's like nerds that aren't even like doing all the manosphere shit that are still just like idolizing these guys. And it's like, what
It's
the
the
fuck?
hustle culture mentality.
Is.
It's way above, just working out at the gym. It's the whole thing
Yeah.
that's what you should be doing in society in general, is that if you're failing, if you're not making your rent, you're not doing these things, you just need to hustle harder. It's not that you're being exploited by your boss. It's not that jobs out there are shitty and don't pay enough. It's that you're not working hard enough. And so the hustle culture thing is just a big grift.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll teach you how to work harder for $29.99 a month in my private Discord.
You see how these things are all connected to each other?
It's nuts.
Bunch of Marxists in here.
I am. I'd like to share a story in solidarity with Wifey Manser. I think it's Wifey Manser, isn't that?
Before you do that, could you just move your head 1 foot to the left or right? Thank you. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, continue.
I passed out. I blacked out from like being dehydrated, but it was because I had a bunch of caffeine studying for a final exam.
Okay.
I passed out in class, and I didn't pass out in class. I walked out to the hall. I just basically passed out from dehydration and just blacked out. And like some other kid was walking through the hall, and he's like, "Oh shit!" And they drove the ambulance on campus. They hauled me to the hospital, and they put the IV in me. It was like the most wonderful thing. Probably one of the best experiences I ever had. Feeling the cold insulin just flow through my veins. It was so wonderful. But this whole experience was made possible by the fact that my dad worked for the university, which covered my health care. And that to me is like, a lot of people don't have that. And so I'm really sympathetic to anybody who goes through that shit. Everybody should have that, because once you have that, you're free. That money is freed up for you to actually have a quality of life, to pursue your interests. And I always think, imagine how wonderful the world would be, or our society would be, if people didn't have to fucking work for healthcare and these basic necessities, and they could be freed up to pursue creative things that would make our society better.
Yeah, there's so many Einsteins that don't, just use Einstein as an example. There's so many Einsteins that never get to like grow to the point that they need to grow to like contribute to society in a really meaningful way. Or the next Michelangelo might just not have enough money.
Me, I'm totally as smart as Einstein.
Yeah, I could tell. That's why we're friends. Everyone here everyone here and everyone in the chat is just extremely intelligent, a wonderful artist.
You're a chess master,
sexy.
though, right? Chess master.
Dude, no. I got up to 1,000 ELO in chess, which was like my goal, and then because of that I started playing a lot more chess and just dropped 200 ELO points. So.
Wait, what's ELO? What's ELO mean?
It's like your chess ranking. 1,000 is like pretty good. It's like, you're probably able to beat most random people at chess.
I was like that with Hearthstone. Like I would get up there and get to like rank 3 or rank 2, and I'd be like, I really know how to do this. But once you hit a certain bar, the people who really know how to play like just obliterate you. You just you have no chance. And chess is
that's how chess is too. Yeah,
related.
Yeah. Because like 1,000 ELO is, like I said, like if you meet a random person, you can probably beat them. But any like serious chess person will still whoop your ass.
Yeah, that's what it's like going on Fortnite and playing against an 11-year-old, and then they call you a slur.
11-year-olds like cracked on 8 Red Bulls and an Adderall.
No, I had to terminal. I'm old, so I had to adjust my reference. I would have said Call of Duty, but now that's for old guys.
I didn't think your Mac could run Fortnite. So that's
My Mac is cooked. I'm telling you. It's. I can hear it. I can hear it sweating next to me. I don't know if you can hear it in the background, but it's like.
You know what's crazy? All my MacBooks get these weird dents in them, and I just found out that has to do with like certain people have a certain sweat chemistry that if you use it while it's plugged in, it'll do electrolysis through your skin and like corrode the metal. yeah. So
you're like the xenomorph.
yeah, something. I'm all sorts of special.
Oh my god! Speaking of xenomorph, I just watched the new Alien movie in a theater.
Oh, good.
This is a sponsored segment, by the way. I just watched the new Alien film at Regal Cinemas. Man, it was so good. It was the first time I've been to the movie theaters in, I don't know, since my kid was born. So at least like 7 months, 8 months. And so like I thought the movie was pretty good. It had some nice anti-capitalist themes, which makes me feel very, seen. But it was just a really good, just like final girl horror movie. Really well done, super aesthetically pleasing. They really leaned into the old style. And I think I definitely was biased. Like, I was just so happy to be outside that like I could have seen a bad movie and been like, that was sick. That was a really good movie. Like, I was growing to appreciate stuff from a different angle now that I have a kid.
that first movie is incredibly good and holds up it's super well.
Alien?
Alien. It's like
I didn't realize how good Terminal?
It is.
Controversial.
No. But it is controversial. I'm surprised it doesn't get called out for being woke. It's got a female protagonist. The only person who's like, what the fuck are we doing here is the black guy. And like everybody else in the movie is just a fucking moron. But I don't think it gets enough props for being as woke as it is.
Some movies like fly under the radar. Like all the manosphere people love The Matrix. And it's like, did you watch that?
No, they have no idea. They have no idea.
What are you talking about?
The funniest thing about like Escape the Matrix thing is like if you watch the 3 movies, you realize that like escaping the Matrix is just another layer of the Matrix anyway. Yeah. Like that's like Zion is not a real place. It's just like another. It's like the holding cell of people that thought they escaped. Yeah. But I think maybe they're more right than they realize. You think you're escaping the Matrix, you're just getting into like a place where like it's not as fun and the food tastes worse.
I just got fed a video, a Star Trek mashup video, like a vintage Star Trek video, where they encounter a guy in space, and it's Bernie Sanders, and it's communism coming to infect the Starship Enterprise. Like the message of this video is so flipped. They're fighting Bernie Sanders, and he's the socialist, he's the Nazi. Like, this video would be ideal if it was, Donald Trump would have been easier to have him come, but they made Bernie Sanders the villain in Star Trek, which is fucking hilarious because Bernie Sanders is like the vision of Star Trek.
Right, but like he even by like standards of Star Trek, they've invented a world that's just like they deleted the idea of class. They've solved every problem on Earth. And all they have to focus on is just like expanding knowledge and art and stuff, right? So like they live in ultra communism, and then Bernie Sanders would be like fascist compared to them. So like I mean maybe there's a way to maybe there is a way to like think about that. But maybe they're right. Like if Picard saw Bernie Sanders, would be like, who's this psychopath?
He's socialist enough.
Yeah. They want free health. He wants to like move to free healthcare. Like we don't even have that. We don't even have health issues on this planet.
Yeah. That's a video for you two to make for sure.
I know.
I was thinking of stealing this idea and flipping it.
You should link that to me. I want to watch that video. It's poorly done though. Monster says it's just. Sorry, I just want to say hi to the chat real quick. Brian, I haven't said hi to you yet with my voice. Monster, hanging in there. Good man. Hope you're doing well.
And everybody should hit the like button and subscribe.
Thank you. I mean, you're probably already
videos.
If you're here, you're probably already subscribed. But give us a like too, because I don't know. It just has 1, it feels good, and 2, it gives like you know, I don't know if you guys are like me, but like if I see a video with no likes and no views, the chance that I'm watching that thing is like 0%.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
give me a couple likes,
Totally.
and maybe someone else will watch this and take something from it.
I saw that we already had a downvote. So
What?
like right
Oh,
when
that
I,
was me.
right when I
That was
signed
me.
in,
Sorry.
it was you. Justin, you were supposed to tell us what happened with your interview.
Oh,
Weren't you?
yeah. I had an interview with a news station recently, an on-camera interview. By on-camera,
Really?
I mean like this. Yeah. So here's how they found me. You know the video that I made? Donald Trump and Joe Biden die at the same time.
Yeah.
Well, I used a few newscasters in that video, and one of their colleagues DM'd me and being like, "Oh, we saw your video, and that's my news partner that's in the video."
That's funny.
So they chased me down, and first they wanted we agreed to have a phone call first, and then we talked for like half an hour, and we were just talking like about misinformation and like how the video was made and stuff like that. That's the kind of angle they were interested in. They were like, you know, you're using AI and editing to, you know, potentially do things that would be harmful to American society. And I was like, I don't agree with that. I was like, I don't agree with that. I'm more like the Onion, if anything. But like, and then he was like, yeah, but we think it's all hilarious, though. And I'm like, okay, good. That's the point. As long as it's funny, I can get away with anything.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, yeah, it was really great. We all had a good laugh. And then, but I just want to let you know we might have to hit you with a cease and desist.
What?
And I was like,
That's crazy.
"What? Come on, don't do that." But and then I was like, actually, you know what? Just do it, because I'll just turn it into content, and it'll be even bigger problem for you.
Yeah.
But he was a good
What a
sport about
weird-
that.
How weird to interview you and then say that.
Well, it was a different person contacted me, and then a different person was
okay.
doing the story. So the interview was with another guy who's doing a piece on just like misinformation on the internet. I think I'm one of a couple of interviews. I'm not sure though. I don't think it's just about me. I think it's like a 5-minute piece, and there's a few different interviews in it.
It's so
But-
funny to call what you do misinformation.
I mean, from an outsider's perspective, I can see why people would say that. Like, I get fact checks and stuff that, like, I have like warnings on some of my Instagram videos that are just like, warning, this has been fact checked by the official fact checkers, and they give a bunch of resources and stuff, and it's like,
I'm getting some feedback on your mic, Justin.
Okay.
Are you two?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. So
Your computer's about to
is it burning up?
off itself.
stop running Fortnite while you're doing this.
I can't help it. So what's the feedback term?
You're just
It's-
crackly.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it's a weird stuttering on the mic input. So I don't know if you want to.
about this right now? Is this doing anything?
It sounds better, but I still hear the popping.
So a popping sound. Well, worst case scenario, I can just go to my earbud. What do you
You
think?
sound
That's
better
one-
now.
Yeah.
Should I just hold it like this?
Good night. Maybe.
Or maybe it was just like my computer was
You got to do
sweating.
the YouTube. You got to do. Levi
Yeah.
had it down. You got to hold the microphone like this. You have to
I
do
don't
the
want
YouTube
to.
mic thing.
They give me a lav mic. I want to wear it on the shirt.
You got to do this.
Oh, you
Looks
sound so
ridiculous,
good. Like,
but-
yeah, and you sound great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it too. I feel
Really?
so stupid
It
doing
does.
it. Yeah.
Oh man,
Does this sound better?
it does feel
it sound
goofy.
better?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
You guys look way
Wow.
cooler doing it.
Yeah,
So, I'm just
totally.
impressed. I can't really do it with my microphone, so I
How
got
can I
to
do it? How can I look
like-
less cool doing it? How about like this? Is this less
Yeah,
cool?
pinky out, maybe.
Yo, pinky out. That's interesting.
Yeah,
Wait.
that's. It's so fun, like going to a park and then talking like this, and people are staring at you, and I'm just like yelling insane shit about technology nobody understands. It's fucking.
I think it's just kind of like what we do now. I think everyone just like content creators in some small way.
True.
Like, and if you're not right now, you're gonna be at some point, because you're either you're gonna just like feel left out, or your job is gonna demand it of you.
For sure.
So
And that's huge in tech. Like, there's this whole concept of a developer advocate. They want us all to be content creators and developers. It's so corny. I hate it.
I'm gonna turn down
That's
my mic a little bit.
for a long time. I was calling myself the developer adversary.
I didn't want to to do this kind of stuff and be on camera. I just wanted to make funny videos and edit. But then Terminal and I talked about this a lot. We just feel like, something's kind of missing when you don't know anything about the artist. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I think the work is enriched when you like Terminal Mode. Like, I liked his videos, but then when I finally got to meet him and talk to him a lot, I was like, I love this guy's content. And I feel like that with everybody that I get to know as a creator. And so, like, I feel like you when you get to see the mind that goes into it, the thought processes that go into these things, it's I don't know, it just makes the content that much better. It's like it's like directors.
Levi and his Twitter thing. Like, I love him, even though I'm outside of his bubble in terms of the tech stuff he's doing these days. Like, I love the antagonism that he has towards power. But when I see his voice and he's talking, there's a human connection. I'm looking at his face. I'm reading his emotions through his facial gestures, and it's superior to then just tweeting out a bunch of text. I'm thinking that's going to make a difference, or making a video in which you're just rehashing previous media content.
Yeah, I agree. It's weird. Like, something that I immediately realized, like, when I started posting videos, people were like, "Oh, you're so much more reasonable and likable than I thought you were." And I'm like, I don't know how to take that, but cool. Well, I guess I'll make more videos because I think people,
1 second,
like we were talking about in the beginning, like when you're just tweeting, people are like, "You're just angry," and it's like, no, that was a joke. I'm not very mad. We lost Justin, I think.
He's probably just rebooting to fix his computers. But adding to the point, like, human beings have like the most muscle control of like any animal. Maybe horses have a little bit, but we have the most control of our facial expressions because we have the ability to read other people's emotions, and we have mirror neurons that when you see somebody sad, you kind of feel a bit of sadness. And so when you see somebody and they don't look just angry as they might when you read their text and you see human being, it elicits a different neurological response in the brain. So visuals are super important. And as we enter this age where people want to be anonymous and just shit all over people, I think it's more important than ever to kind of put your face out there if you can and try to interact with people and show them that you care and you're not just this antagonistic dick. Not that you are. Like, I love everything
Totally
that you do. So,
and heads up, guys. So check this out. I had to go answer the door real quick. My in-laws are staying with me right now, and they're both like professional level chefs. Every meal they make is just like I'm at. It's like Michelin. So in about 10 minutes, I'm probably gonna get going. So we'll close the stream in about 10. But I just want to give you guys a heads up. So we're gonna start wrapping up.
What are you eating?
Relatively soon. I don't know yet, but I can smell it.
They're having McDonald's.
And I'm losing my mind.
That's awesome.
Actually, my wife. I told you about why my wife loves McDonald's, right?
No, I don't think so.
Did I didn't tell you.
That's why I said.
Terminal knows, yeah. Because she grew up in a country
funny.
where like McDonald's didn't exist until she was like 10 or something, and she went to the first McDonald's in her country when it opened, and like something just like some synapse just went bzzz, and just woke her up. Like when you're a kid, like you have these memories, just like they build you.
Yeah.
Hers is like biting into that McNugget the first time. Just and so like she ended up like, there's like a through line from her like biting that first McNugget to like coming here.
That was like part of Pizza Hut's official marketing strategy, which is why Pizza Hut sponsored like book fairs and stuff in your school.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know if you guys grew up with those, but I definitely did. And they were trying to like make form like core memories of you having celebrations associated with pizza.
You know where else that worked? They did that when the Soviet Union was collapsing too. They put the first. I mean, Terminal Mode. You remember this when you're 180 years old. I'm just kidding.
That poster is like from the Gorbachev era.
Oh, really?
So,
yeah, but there was a famous ad with Gorbachev eating at Pizza Hut. And it was like this kind of like celebrating the fall of the Soviet Union, essentially. So like, we're bringing in capitalism. It's over. Wrap it up.
That's so funny. Wrap it up, boys.
And and like that. I mean that thing works. If you're like a kid and you like this is long game. If you're a kid and you try pizza for the first time, it'll change your life. man.
I
Like,
still get pizza for celebrations. Like they got me. I know
Pizza
the
Hut's
whole.
the best one. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah.
Maybe I think the quality's declined over time, but like to me, I think Pizza Hut's like the best like of that kind of like corporate restaurant. They got me too.
That's funny. Yeah. Man, it's crazy. But
Yeah. Terminal. What's your favorite? What's your favorite corporate? What's your
Pizza
favorite
Overlord.
corporate food?
Corporate food, probably Taco Bell.
That's a
Really?
good one.
I
You're
think
not a
that's like
Taco Bell fan?
I mean, I like Taco Bell.
I feel like
I'm
if you're
just-
not a Taco Bell fan, you didn't grow up truly poor.
Yeah, no.
I didn't.
That
I didn't
was
grow
like
up with.
a
I didn't
staple
grow up
food.
where there were Taco Bells. So I didn't know. I didn't know what Taco Bell. I didn't have
makes
Taco
sense.
Bell
Yeah.
until I was like
It was
an adult.
like where we ate lunch in high school. It was like you said, it was like the thing that I had when I was a kid, where I was like, oh, this is heavenly. So
Yeah.
it got into me early, and I still have never shaken it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
Yeah, what
wife
about you?
too. Taco Bell's definitely her favorite.
Taco Bell. They
My
have-
partner doesn't really like Taco Bell at all, so
Well, shouts out
That's-
to her.
we're thinking about breaking up.
Yeah, that's rough.
Inconsolable
Funny.
differences.
It's expensive as hell here. Taco Bell's like weirdly overpriced here. A lot of the
Really?
other fast food. Yeah, it's like more
Good.
expensive than it is in the States. Probably the only one.
Good. You live in Spain, man. You can just have like some delicious fruit
Oh,
and
yeah, we don't-
cheese and
We don't eat
All
any
kinds
of
of
that
good stuff.
stuff here, but
the
But yeah.
tapas. Oh, the top. Oh, the tomato bread. You usually get tomato bread
sure.
for like nothing, right? You just sit down, they give you the tomato bread.
yeah, especially in Barcelona. It's a little here they give you potato chips with everything. It's kind of weird.
Really? Wait, what city? Oh, you don't have to disclose if you don't want to, but we
I'm
can
in
say
Madrid,
Spain.
I'll say.
Oh, okay. So Barcelona is superior to Madrid in that respect.
In everything you care about, certainly.
Yeah. I like to live in like former I'd love to live in a former commune
Yeah.
known as Barcelona.
Madrid's pretty like it's very livable compared to Barcelona because Barcelona is and they hate this, like they're very mad about it, but it is like super overrun with tourists. So getting around the city was pretty difficult. It's interesting because we were there for 2 months, and that was long enough to see. Like we went and we saw the stuff, and then we were just trying to live a normal life, and we're like, "Fuck, this is kind of a hassle sometimes." Where even when Madrid is busy, it's still very like easy to get around, I guess.
Right on. It's not as infected with people like me just salivating over all the good food all the time.
For sure. Have you been following? Like Barcelona's had a lot of anti-tourist protests.
Sad, but also good. I get it, but also
Yeah.
like, I want to go.
Well, it just sucks
Go.
too, because like my experience, and you'll probably be fine. You have friends in Barcelona, don't you? But like everyone I
actually
met in
don't, but-
Barcelona. Oh, okay.
Just I have people in Spain that
Everyone
like
I
to go
met-
to Barcelona.
Yeah, it's true. But everyone I met there, if you put like minimal effort into acknowledging that like Catalonian culture is not Spanish culture, then they're like, fucking, you rock, dude. Like, hell yeah. Stay here as long as you want. So
Yeah.
it's really just like, it's just the people that go there and have no interest in even interacting with the world around them. They're just like, I'm in a beach town. Give me Taco Bell.
I need my Taco Bell. No matter what country I go to, I need my Taco Bell.
Yeah.
All
Well, that's
right.
I don't know if you. Oh, sorry. I don't know
ahead.
if you noticed when you were there, but if you were in like the huge touristy areas, like closer to the beach and stuff, it's like Little Caesars Pizza and Taco Bell.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Just to
fucking weird.
save the Americans.
Yeah, something.
I used to go on vacation with my parents when I was a kid, from like rural Maine to like, down the East Coast or whatever. And they'd be driving around, and like everyone's so hungry in the car, and they're like so scared to try anything local. They're just like looking for like, oh God, there's got to be an Applebee's somewhere.
Yeah.
Or how can people eat out here? And just like we've drive by like 80 local restaurants, and they're just like too scared to try anything, so just gotta hunt down
So
hunt
weird.
down McDonald's or whatever. Yeah. All right, I gotta get going. I gotta go eat some food. It smells too good. I'm gonna lose my mind.
All right. It was fun hanging out with you. Nice to meet you, Terminal.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, great
Thanks
talking to you
everybody
guys.
in the chat. They're the most important people here.
Yes, thank you so
thank
much.
everybody for
Really appreciate
participating.
you.
hanging out with us.
Yeah, love you all. Justin grew up on lobster rolls. Brian, you're 100% right. You're 100% right. All right, guys. Have a good night, everybody.
You too. See ya.
Bye-bye. Uh-oh. End stream.